From Peoria, Illinois, VideoMax Limited presents Midstate Magazine with your hosts, Brian Blakely and Robin Moody. Our news director is Angela Isaacs. City Beat with Rob Barrett. Midstate Arts and Culture with Ben Lohman. And Sports with Rick Sparky. Next, a visit to Minka's Corner with Angelique Nazir. And now, from the Television Center at Bradley University in the heart of America's friendliest city, your hosts, Brian Blakely and Robin Moody.
Hello and welcome to the first edition of Midstate Magazine. I'm Robin Moody.
And I'm Brian Blakely. We're glad you could join us.
We sure are, because we've got a fabulous show today. I'm looking forward to it. Ben Lohman went and talked to some dancers of a different store, and Rick Sparky got to check out the Bradley University Greek Games.
I bet that was a lot of fun.
Rob visits an up-and-coming brewery in Peoria for all those beer connoisseurs out there. And later in the show, Minka Mazur has something to say about a common condition known as BBM syndrome.
Well, I've never heard of that. Hope it's not contagious.
Well, I don't believe so, but don't be off and running yet. Here's Angela with news.
Good evening. Do you remember the days of your youth and the local playgrounds teeter-totter? Well, a Bradley fraternity has taken full advantage of that schoolyard pleasure and is teeter-tottering its way to helping its community. Bradley University's chapter of Phi Gamma Delta, or Fiji, held its 5th annual teeter-totterathon for Peoria's Family House. The event is a fun and beneficial philanthropy project for the community. Robert Drobnak, Fiji chapter treasurer, shared why Fiji supports Family House.
Family House is a residence down the street from the hospitals, and what it is there for the families of members who are in the hospital can stay there for only $15 a night, so they can get cheap lodging and cheap food and family type of atmosphere.
The philanthropy project is a great experience for all who participate. Not only does the teeter-totterathon raise a lot of money, but participants really enjoy it.
Well, we hope to raise about $2,500 for Family House. In years past, we've usually gotten over $2,000, so it's a little bit higher this year. Hopefully we can get it.
Phi Gamma Delta rallied the support of Chi Omega, a Greek sorority at Bradley. Mike Flanagan, a Fiji alum, is making this a tradition.
I'm here because I'm a Fiji alum, and this is my 5th teeter-totter, and it's not only a great cause, but it's a lot of fun. You don't even realize you're helping out the community by doing this. The benefits I see are, it's very visual. People can see us. We're on the corner of Main and University. A lot of people come by. A lot of people see what we're doing. And I think it's great for the campus. I think it's great for the Greek community. And I think it's great for our house. I mean, it's a very visual thing. And I believe it's not just a thing for us. It also helps Family House. I mean, I've toured Family House twice and been involved there. And, you know, I've seen those people get help with our money. And that's what really makes it all worth it.
Fiji's teeter-totterathon was a great success. They raised a lot of money for Peoria's Family House. It's election year. Are debating their views on homelessness and the devastating effects of broken families on our children. While at Peoria's YW Transitional Housing Project, they're doing more than just giving those issues lip service. They've done something. The YW Transitional Housing Project is a 21-apartment residence for low-income women with children. The residents have been in a homeless shelter for 30 to 45 days and are using the YW Transitional Housing Project for a transition from an emergency shelter, then to the YWCA program, and hopefully to a permanent residence. Jeannie Kimball, the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the YWCA, explains the program's motivation.
Because we see there's no shortage of homeless in this community. We all have waiting lists. We all of the programs have a 6-month time frame for residents to stay in. And many times we find a resident leaving our shelter and our staff's on the phone calling one of the other shelters because they're not ready to go out in the community on their own. And what's developing then is a cycle of intergenerational homelessness. So we see adults now who are in the shelter system as kids, and as such don't have even some of the basic skills that living skills that you and I take for granted. So that's why this project we're so excited about, because we feel it has a really good chance of helping us break that cycle so that people will not have to keep making that round of shelters in this community.
Bridget Marquez, the Transitional Housing Director, shares what happens after the women have been selected for housing.
When they initially move in and are accepted, they are assigned a caseworker and what we call a case manager. And they will go through an assessment program with them and discuss what their goals, what their requirements as far as what they plan for themselves. The whole family will meet for this because we're not working just with the mothers but with the entire family unit. So the children will be present for this and an assessment will be done on them.
Not only will the project provide for life's materialistic needs, but it also supplies its residents with a hope which runs deep.
Well, I think a lot of what happens with the women that are placed in shelters for whatever reasons, they have a feeling of loss, a failure for whatever reason. They've lost their home, they've lost their husband, they've lost whatever, and they hit bottom in their minds. And if this is a chance to try to get back to mainstream, if they even see a mainstream, they know it's there, there's somebody that's going to help me. I'm not going to be thrown in to a housing project and say, good luck, bye, pay rent. There's additional help there. And I would think that would be a good incentive. Not only can we find you stability, we can teach you how to maintain stability. Not only can you have respect where you live, but we can teach you how to show respect and earn respect from others. So I think that would be
The YW Transitional Housing Project is located at 714 Hamilton Boulevard. This has been Weekly News from the studio of Midstate Magazine. Back to you, Robin and Brian.
Thanks, Angela.
Well, next on Midstate Magazine's City Beat, Rob Baird will take us on a very interesting brewery shop in Peoria.
That's coming up after this quick break. Stay with us.
We're actually on.
back to Midstate Magazine. I know I'm having fun with our first show. Are you having fun, Brian?
Oh, I'm having loads of fun, Robin. Rob Barrett's going to tell us a little bit about the art of brewing beer and get it started with it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's one of the most important things that anybody ever did, is brew beer.
The most important thing, huh?
Yeah. Take it away, Rob.
The purpose of this segment is to show a less-known business or event in the downtown Peoria area. Maybe you've heard of some of these places, maybe not, but everyone should pay them a visit. This week I went to Deep Ellum Brews on Main Street. Check it out. Deep on Main Street.
Okay, because
Barley.
we need to know like what cameras we're on.
Bradley
Yeah.
is a small shop that offers quite a unique product line, drinking and driving. Deep Ellum Brews and the Bicycle Bus, run by Tim Beanie, is a home brewery supply and bike shop in one, offering quality service at a low price.
I knew that I wanted to open up a bike shop, and I needed something to go along with it in the wintertime. And I'd run into a friend of mine and former partner who had gotten into home brewing about the same time I did, and we decided that that might be our wintertime business.
So, how do you make beer, Tim, and what's in all the cans behind you?
Well, the malts, these are what they call kit beers. They have hops in them and yeast also. So you take a can of the liquid malt here, and then to that you'd add another can of plain malt, and boil that with about 1.5 gallons or 2 gallons of water for up to an hour. And then you'd add that to 3 more gallons, let it cool, put the yeast in, let it ferment for about 3 or 4 days, siphon it into a carboy, and let it stay in the carboy to continue fermenting for about another at least 10 days. And then after that you'll bottle it and let it sit for at least a week and be ready to drink.
So what started your interest in home brewing, and who taught you how to brew, and why did you decide to make a business out of it?
It's just something I'd always wanted to try. When I was in high school, the one thing I learned in my chemistry class was how to distill alcohol. And I played around with that for a little bit and then hadn't done anything actively. I made a little bit of wine, things like that. But when I was in Wisconsin, some roommates of mine wanted to try it, so I got involved with them in it. And I ended up with the brew kit, and that was kind of the beginning of the business. When I came back to Peoria, I decided to go ahead and get into home brewing full time.
This has been Rob Barrett with this week's version of City Beat.
Thanks, Rob. I just might have to rush over to Deep Ellum Brews so I can become a master brewmaster myself.
Looks like you got yourself a little hobby now, Brian.
Well, you'll get the honors of having the first glass, Robin.
I think I'll have to pass on that one.
Next up is Ben with Sketchpad. And Ben, I hear you saw some pretty interesting stuff down at the Civic Center. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Sketchpad, where we cover arts and culture in the greater Midstate area in an attempt to prove that greater Midstate is not an oxymoron. Since this is our first sketch, we thought we'd start things off with a bang, and that requires noise and a cheesy segue. You know, when most of us were children, we made noise all the time. Kids will just about bang and tap on anything they can get their hands on, but they're not alone. A group of 8 grown-ups has been exploring the joy of making sounds with everyday objects. And I went down to the Civic Center to find out what all the noise was about. Are these overzealous practitioners of the custodial arts? I think not.
As it turns out, the noise is the international percussion sensation stomp. Created in London by Luke Creswell and Steve McNicholas, Stomp is a show which merges dance with percussion.
I would describe it more than anything else about rhythm and about the discovery of rhythm in everyday life. And aside from that, it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
The sound of Stomp is all about creativity. Stomp uses everything but traditional percussion instruments to create a rhythmic extravaganza. Garbage cans, brooms, Zippo lighters, wooden tea chests, and matchboxes, to name a few. And as for the look of Stomp,
you know, basically whatever you feel comfortable in that looks kind of trashy and streety, and that's about it.
but the freedom to dress however you feel and make noise with anything you can get your hands on doesn't come without a price.
I saw somebody put a pole through their hand once. We do a number with poles, and one of the poles broke and went right through one of the guy's hands. But he came out okay. I've had a lot of minor injuries. I personally haven't had any major injuries doing this show. But, you know, always tearing up hands or, you know, wear and tear on the body, general wear and tear.
But when everything comes together, the sound of Stomp is truly impressive.
Oh my God, I thought you caught that.
It's the first time we've ever had anything quite like this. Just a percussion group who uses nothing but everyday objects as instruments. It's a lot more unique than any other show we've ever had.
The New York Times has called Stomp a surefire crowd pleaser with a rock and roll heart. They've won London's Olivier Award, Off-Broadway's Obie Award, and have even been nominated for an Academy Award for their short film of the Brooms sequence. All of this praise for approaching the world with a childlike sense of wonder.
I've always kind of banged and tapped on things, but I never thought it would actually earn me a living.
Well, needless to say, a groovy time was had by all. With Arts and Culture, I'm Ben Lohman. Back to you, Robin and Brian.
Thanks, Ben. Brian, did you hear what those percussionists said? They say that they get injured a lot in those shows. They go through a lot just to entertain their audiences.
I know, and it's really amazing how they can keep the rhythm together. I mean, I can't keep my rhythm if I'm dancing with nothing, much less a broom.
Okay. Well, speaking of great shows, we've got a lot that's still coming on Midstate Magazine. We have Rick with sports and Minka with her commentary.
Welcome back to Midstate Magazine. You like sports, Robin?
I love sports, especially basketball. Why do you ask?
Because up next we have Rick Sparky with our weekly dose of sports. This time the focus is on Bradley sports that aren't just for fun, they're for a good cause too.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Can't wait to see. Rick?
Sports edition of our show and talk about one of the first sporting events ever known to mankind.
I could see her.
The Greek Games were held at Bradley University today. No, it wasn't Zeus versus Mercury, but it was fraternities and sororities engaged in some friendly competition to see who would be Greek Week champ. Hundreds of Bradley students showed up in Olin Quad today to cheer on their classmates in such events as the tug of war and the relay race. The Greek Games brought an end to a week of activities called Greek Week at Bradley. A 5K run and 1 mile walk kicked off the beginning of Greek Week. The race had a little more meaning to it than just for fun or exercise or competition. However, Bradley students and Peoria natives alike walked to raise money and awareness about a good cause, the race against racism.
A large crowd of Bradley students and Peoria natives gathered today outside of the Student Center for either a 5K race or a 1 mile walk. One of those people was yours truly. And as I mapped out my route to victory, trusty photographer Jason Shomas checked out the competition to see what kind of chance I would have of winning. Because after all, winning is everything, isn't it?
You know what? It ain't about winning. It's about the cause, you know, and we're just here to have a good time.
Getting run over. Not about winning. This guy would be no problem. But I had to see what kind of strategy my other competition had.
May not make it all the way, but I'm running. Just took up jogging a couple weeks ago, so we'll see how far I get.
This guy didn't seem to be too tough either. He was just worried about finishing. And as the race was about to start, I felt pretty confident about my chances. We were off, and as we rounded the first corner, I knew that it would have to keep a fast pace to win. The 1 mile walk started shortly after the run, and as Jason flirted with the young ladies, there was still no sign of me or anyone else. Finally, after a little over 17 minutes, the first runner emerged, and surprisingly, it wasn't me. In fact, there was still no sign of me. I wasn't the second runner across either, but as I did emerge at a slightly slower pace than I left, I felt pretty good.
You what? I'm dying.
Well, maybe not good, but I was still breathing. And as I finished, I wondered why anyone would put themselves through this torture.
I saw like the advertisements for it, and I knew they were going to have the run, and I think it's a really good cause, and it's really fun to come out and run with a bunch of people at 9 o'clock in the morning, so why not?
Fun? Maybe race organizer Brian Conway could give me a better answer as to why all these people would do this to themselves.
A guy named Keith Kroger started it in 1990. In 1990, we had some racial tension on campus, and we had this idea that by doing this, we could sort of bring the whole campus together.
Well, after running this race today, I found out about 3 things. 1, that sport can be used for fun, entertainment, and exercise, but can also be used for a good cause, and the race against racism is definitely a good cause. 2 is that winning isn't everything, which is a good thing because I sure wasn't going to win. And 3, I'm out of shape. Now back to me in the studio.
Race against racism will be followed up with a couple of speakers coming to campus sometime this year to talk about and raise awareness about racism. It was a good race and it was a good time. Back to you, Robin and Brian.
Students at Bradley really looked like they were having a great time helping at the Greek Games, helping out all those different causes. What a great way to get involved.
Yeah, really. Well, next on Midstate Magazine, Minka will take a look at the ongoing cinema called BBM. Sounds pretty interesting, but I've never heard of it before.
There's nothing like the sound of rap in the morning. But what if it's 6 in the morning? Everyone loves the classics, but after hearing it for the umpteenth time in a row, it's enough to make you yak. What the heck is she talking about, you may be asking? Well, I'm talking about a problem that's been plaguing college campuses and apartment complexes for years. You may even be part of the epidemic. What I'm addressing is BBM syndrome. BBM stands for blaring bad music. You may have this problem, or your upstairs or downstairs neighbors may have this problem. If you can answer yes to any of these 3 questions. At 2:30 in the morning, do you have the overpowering urge to Macarena? Do you have any sort of CDs or cassettes that have the words vanilla and ice on the cover? Do you like to step Reebok with your clogs on, or at least make it sound that way? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are suffering from BBM syndrome.
If you or your neighbors fit this description, please seek help immediately by calling the BBM hotline at 1-800-555-SHUT-UP.
So, Brian, do you suffer from BBM syndrome?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay,
We'll be right back after the break.
thanks. Welcome to the first edition of Food Corner. Each week we'll be trying different foods from area restaurants. Brian, what are we eating today?
Well, we're eating burritos. I decided to head over to the Crazy Burrito and pick up some food because I eat there all the time.
You do? I don't know if I really want to eat a burrito.
Well, you're going to have to because I'm not about to bring any of that rabbit food that you usually eat here into the studio. Besides, this stuff is healthy anyway.
It is? How could it possibly be healthy?
Well, why don't we just take a look at my visit down there and we'll find out.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Keep going.
Okay, we got to open the food.
Views from area residents and Bradley students. The idea for this Mexican restaurant began in 1992 and led to the opening of Baja Burritos in Oak Forest, Illinois. After Sam Eade and his brothers opened a nearby coffee shop in Peoria, he teamed up with an old college friend, John Simcox, and opened the Crazy Burrito. Crazy Burrito offers a welcome change from your typical Mexican restaurant. They pride themselves on using fresh vegetables, all-white chicken meat, lean steak they grind themselves, and fat-free refried beans. According to Sam and John, an absolute necessity for any burrito joint is a large quantity of food. The menu offers something for everyone, from tequila poppers to the avocado maniac. You're bound to find a platter to tickle your taste buds. They also serve old favorites like nacho platters and beef burritos. If you shun meat, they offer a large vegetarian menu. You can try the Texas toothpicks, thin strips of onions and mild jalapenos coated with a crispy, zesty batter, or the veggie grill, grilled onions, green peppers, and mushrooms wrapped in a flour tortilla with beans and cheese. But if you're a glutton for punishment like me, the obvious choice is the Belly Buster burrito. Whatever you choose, you're sure to be pleased and full. The Crazy Burrito's location offers a variety of customers from the downtown business people to area residents to Bradley students. The owners have plans to expand to other locations in Peoria and on other college campuses. Crazy good.
Thanks, Brian. This is actually really good.
I've had a great time.
Thanks.